So welcome children. Today now we are going to study the uses of aluminium. We already have done the extraction of metal and all the stages involved in it. And in uses of aluminium, children, we know that being a strong, light and corrosive resistant metal, it is used in alloys. Now children, alloys is a homogeneous mixture of metals and some non-metal, which we are going to study in the later part of this chapter. As you all know children, aluminium is light, it has high tensile strength and is resistant to corrosion, and it is good conductor of heat, unaffected by organic acid and have attractive appearance. So it is used as follows. First is that is used it is used for making utensils. So all our kitchen utensils are made up of mostly aluminium and alloys of aluminium. And when aluminium vessels like kettle is exposed to atmospheric air, aluminium combines with oxygen of the air and a film of aluminium oxide is formed at the surface of the kettle. This hard, tightening, adhering film of aluminium oxide protects the kettle from the corrosion action of water. So children, when this layer is formed over the surface of aluminium, it protects the uh, aluminium which is underneath, and this layer of aluminium oxide is very strong layer, so it is used for that purpose. Then it is also used for building and construction work. In building and construction work, you might have seen in a big building the partitions within a building are made up of aluminium. The frame where the glasses are placed in front of the building, they are also made up of aluminium, and it is now used at many places in the building work. Now it is also used for painting electrical and telegraphic poles made up of iron to prevent from rusting. Now children, many time you might have seen the electric pole which is paint with a material like silver, but it is not silver, it is aluminum paint. So this paint is protecting the iron poles from getting corroded. Then it is also used for making furnitures and household gadgets. Now you might have seen some benches, some chairs, tables being made up of aluminum nowadays. Now children, aluminum has got a strong affinity for oxygen, and it is used as a deoxidizer in the manufacture of steel. It is also used for making flash bulb for photography. It is used for making certain explosives like ammonal. And ammonal, children, is a mixture of aluminum powder and ammonium nitrate. And being an excellent reflector of light, aluminum is used for making mirrors for reflecting telescopes. And aluminum, being a good conductor of electricity, is used for the manufacture of cables for power transmission. So children, the power cables which you see in front of your houses, or they are made up of aluminum. As aluminum is unaffected by seawater, the ships are made of alloys of aluminum. And aluminum amalgam liberates hydrogen, which when treated with water, so it is used for carrying out reduction of organic compounds. So children, it is used in this way also. And very important use of aluminum is in aluminothermy. Now aluminothermy is used to mend or to weld the broken parts of the rail girdles or iron pieces. So children, aluminum is a good reducing agent, so it is used in aluminothermy. This process is used to in joining or welding broken iron girdles, rails and machine parts. So children, the process involved in this is, we'll see it with this equation. This is the equation used in this process. We take ferric oxide and aluminum and heat it to a high temperature, where children a reduction of ferric oxide takes place and iron is produced and aluminum oxide is produced. At a very high temperature, this iron is in liquid form, and this liquid iron is allowed to fall on the broken parts of the rail girdles or on the broken parts of those iron pieces, which welds those pieces. So children will see the process how it is involved, and it is done in this way children. In this process, thermate, a mixture of 3 parts of ferric oxide and 1 part aluminum powder, is taken in a crucible. Children, crucible is a device for chemistry. It is used for high burning of material, so it can withstand high burning, high temperature, and it is made up of silica. So this crucible is having a hole at the bottom. This crucible is placed over the broken piece of iron rail. And children, we do, we put the ignition mixture over this thermate, and this ignition mixture contains magnesium powder and potassium chloride, which helps in burning. And we introduce a ribbon of burning magnesium, ignited magnesium, in this mixture, and this mixture starts burning because of the ignition mixture which is present in it. And children, a high temperature is maintained. So the ignition mixture of potassium chlorate and magnesium powder is placed on the top of the thermate. To start the process, a fuse of burning magnesium is inserted into the ignition mixture, which catches fire and ignites the thermate. The vigorous reaction occurs with the evolution of large amount of heat during this process. A temperature of 3000 degrees is achieved. And aluminum is powerful reducing agent. When a mixture of aluminum powder and iron oxide is ignited, the latter is reduced to metal. This process is called aluminothermy. Iron formed from ferric oxide is allowed to drop over the gaps between the broken piece, and they join together. So children, these are the uses of aluminium. And aluminium is also used in many different ways after making its alloy. So we'll come to the next part of this chapter, that is alloy. So children, please go through this extraction of aluminium, as now aluminium is the only metal to be extracted, so it will be asked in the paper also. So next topic we are going to study is alloys. So children, alloys will just follow. An alloy is just a homogeneous mixture of two or more metals, or one or more metal with certain non-metallic element. And the properties of alloys are often greatly different from those of the component. Gold is too soft to be used without a small percentage of copper. So the corrosion and oxidation resistance of steel is markedly increased by incorporation of 15% to 18% of chromium, and often a few percent of nickel and stainless steel and is made. So a presence of carbon up to 1.5% profoundly affects the property of steel. Similarly, a low percentage of molybdenum improves the toughness of and wear resistance of steel. The hundreds of special alloys available, for instance, are instances of tailor-made nature of alloy to meet the specific operating conditions. Amorphous alloys used in transformed coils are made by quick quenching of the molten metal. So children, here we have studied that alloy is a homogeneous mixture of metals, or it may be a homogeneous mixture of metals and non-metals. And this alloy is made to improve the quality or to improve the properties of the metal, so that it may be used for some specific purposes. Now children, an alloy melting in the range from 51 to 260 degrees centigrade is normally called as fusible alloys. And children, these fusible alloys mostly contains tin and lead and bismuth. So the alloys, if it melts between the range of 51 to 260 degrees centigrade, then it will be called as fusible alloys. And children, contain a steel containing up to 10% elements such as chromium, molybdenum, nickel, etc., usually with a low percentage of carbon, is known as alloy steel. These added elements improve hardness, wear resistance, toughness, and other properties. So children, now I hope alloy must be clear to you. Now children, with alloy, another word comes is amalgam. Now amalgam is that alloy in which one of the component is mercury. So a mixture of an alloy of mercury with a number of metals or alloys such as sodium, zinc, gold and silver, as well as with some non-metal, is known as amalgam. So we have dental amalgam, which is a mixture of mercury and silver tin alloy. Mercury does not form an amalgam with iron, and hence mercury is commonly stored in iron bottles. Now children, we come to the purpose for making alloys. So why do we make these alloys? The first thing is that alloys are made to change the property of their major constituents to achieve a specific objective. For example, strength of iron is achieved by making it into steel or by converting it into steel, and brass is stronger than its component copper and zinc. Aluminium bronze, and aluminum bronze, children, looks like gold. So in place of wearing gold nowadays, people are wearing aluminum bronze, which is in appearance like gold. Then nichrome, an alloy of nickel, iron and chromium, is more resistant to electricity. Carboli, an alloy of tungsten, carbon and cobalt, is as hard as diamond. And bell metal, that is a combination of 78% copper and 22% tin, is more sonorous than copper or tin. So it is used for making bells in the temples, in the church, at many places. Alnico, an alloy containing aluminium, nickel, and cobalt, can lift 60 times its own mass. Solder, an alloy of lead and tin. Tin lowers melting point of alloy. It melts at 180 degrees centigrade. It is useful for making electrical connection soldering purpose because its melting point is lower than the individual melting points of both the component metals. So solder is used for electrical conduction, for soldering purpose. Then we have an alloy called type metal, an alloy of lead, tin and antimony. Lead is 75%, tin is 10%, antimony is 15%, has a low melting point and can easily be cast. So it is used for making, it is used for printing purpose, it is used for making those casts, alphabetical casts. Then sodium amalgam is much less reactive than sodium. It is a liquid alloy at room temperature. So children, here you can see that the purpose of alloying is to change the properties of the different metals to make it useful to us. Then children, the purpose of an alloy is to improve the specific usefulness of the primary component and not to adulterate or degrade it. Now reason for alloying, depending upon the purpose for which a particular alloy is used, first is to modify the appearance and color, like aluminum bronze, which is an alloy of aluminum and copper, resembles gold and it is bright yellow. To modify the chemical activity, as you all know children, so sodium is very reactive, but to reduce its activity or reactivity, sodium amalgam, that is an alloy of sodium and mercury, is used. So it is sodium amalgam is less reactive than sodium. To modify cast ability, type metal, which is an alloy of lead, tin and antimony, expands on solidification and is easily cast into any shape. So it is used for that. To lower the melting point, for example, solder, that is an alloy of lead and tin, melts at 180 degrees centigrade, which is lower than the melting point of lead and tin. To increase the hardness and tensile strength, for example, brass, which is an alloy of copper and zinc, is harder than copper. Duralumin has a strength up to 6 times greater than pure aluminium. Then next is to increase resistance to electricity. Nichrome, which is an alloy of nickel, iron and chromium, has more resistance and can produce much heat to electricity than copper. Then children, how to make alloy? Method of making alloy: by fusing the metals together. For example, brass is made by melting zinc and copper. By compressing finely divided metals, for example, wood metal. An alloy of lead, tin, bismuth and cadmium powder is a fusible alloy. This alloy is used in automatic sprinklers which provide a spray of water to prevent fires from spreading. So children, we can say that alloys are solid solutions. Now in solution we must have a solvent and a solute. So alloy can be considered as solid solution in which the metal with high concentration is solvent and the other metals are solute. For example, brass is a solid of zinc solute in copper, that is solvent. So the percentage of metal which is more will be called as solvent and which is less will be called as solute. Now children, in this table which you see, there are some alloys given, but according to the syllabus we are only going to study the alloys which are given in the syllabus. And the alloys given in the syllabus are: first is alloy of aluminium, that is duralumin. Now children, the composition in this alloy is that it is 90%, 95% aluminium, 4% copper, 0.5% magnesium, 0.5% manganese. After making this alloy, the properties are changed, and it is now light but as strong as steel, hard and resistant to corrosion, highly ductile. And children, now this alloy can be used for making bodies of aircraft, buses and tube trains. It is used for making light tools, and it is used for making pressure cooker. So the pressure cooker in your house is made up of this alloy. Next is children, we come to stainless steel, and you all know about stainless steel. Now children, stainless steel is an alloy of iron which is 73%, chromium 18%, nickel 8% and carbon 1%. Now this stainless steel is resistant to corrosion, is lustrous, that is it is having a very good shine, it is hard, resistant to acids and alkalis. So these are the properties. And children, this is used for making utensils, cutlery, ornamental pieces, surgical instruments. So we must know about its uses also. Then the next alloy children which we have in the syllabus is brass. So brass is an alloy of 60 to 70% copper and 40 to 30% zinc. And children, the properties are: it is malleable and ductile, and it can easily be cast, resist corrosion, and it is yellow to silvery in color. And the yellow to silvery means children, if percentage of copper is more, then it will have a color of yellowish, and if zinc is more, it will go into the silvery color. So this is due to the percentage. Now children, it is used for decorative hardware utensils, it is used for making screws and handles, it is used for making cartridges, containers, it is used for making parts of watches, it is used for making musical instruments, it is used in electrical goods also. So it is used in many of these places. Next alloy we have to study is bronze. Bronze is an alloy of copper, tin and zinc. Copper is 80%, zinc, tin is 18% and zinc is 2%. And children, the property of bronze is that it is hard and easily cast, can take up polish, and it resists corrosion. So it is used in making medals, statues, utensils, bearings, and it is used in making coins also. And the next alloy which we have to study is the solder or fused metal. So children, in this alloy we see that it is an alloy of lead and tin, both in equal ratio, that is 50% each. Now this alloy has properties that it has low melting point, and it has got high tensile strength, and it is used in welding and in fuse making of electrical fuses. So children, these are the uses of some of the alloys. Now children, just mark the alloys which we have in the syllabus to study. I am marking these alloys over here. These are the alloys which you have to study. They are duralumin, stainless steel, brass, bronze and fused metal or solder. So please study them in detail, study their composition, their properties and their uses. So children, here we end this chapter metallurgy, and after viewing this video, please come forward with your problems. Now children, after seeing the videos also, I think only one or two children are asking the problems. Please go through these videos and come up with your problems if you have, and you have to do the question answers in the chapter in the note copy also. Thank you very much.